Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
You know, and trying to come up with that opening segment every week, Kev, like, what do we talk about? I thought it was serendipitous.
Ooh.
That today you sent me a thing about working with pen and paper, and I was like, where have I heard this word? Why is this word in my head? You know, it's not one of those that's always accessible. So
I know that I've never used that word in my life.
How about serendipity? How about any form of the word?
No.
Never in a promo, like when you're trying to kind of come off as really angry about what another wrestler has done to you?
Not something in my vocabulary.
You know whose vocabulary it's in, Kev?
Whoever
writers.
Yeah, whoever wrote the promo for Bill.
There's a lot I liked about that promo. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, on Raw, they showed about 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 seconds, something like that. A sit-down moment with Bill Goldberg and Michael Cole, off location, so it wasn't an arena, it was not a production facility, it was like a hotel suite. Felt like a 60 Minutes kind of thing. And I thought they captured that vibe well. Even the angles, they got nice and tight on Bill. They usually go there when the victim's going to cry on like a 60 Minutes or an MSNBC documentary about, you know, where a body's buried. But it was kind of the same thing that we'd heard from Bill about his upcoming match with Gunther in relation to his being embarrassed in front of his family. So why off-site? Why is anything serendipitous for Bill Goldberg at this moment? There were more questions than answers, Kevin. I think
the reason that they did it the way they did it was then when Gunther closed with his in-ring, it just made such a sharp contrast.
So you thought something? Okay, you thought something was effective there.
Yeah, I thought it was like night and day.
Oh no, in the two styles of the promos, you mean?
No,
yes.
I mean I just think that if Bill already went out there and spit in his face the week before, so Bill had already been 120. The only place he had to go was the other way. Like he you know.
Yeah, in the separate location, for 2 minutes, with nothing new. I mean, if there was going to be some kind of revelation,
I think it's like any other thing, but it comes across as that Bill's special.
Got it.
Bill's not being shot next to a black box in the back, because Bill wouldn't just show up at the arena to cut a promo in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to come to Bill.
You were around Bill so much. Would Bill find something serendipitous? Like maybe the writers heard him say that and they were like, "Ooh, let's get serendipitous into the promo right now." No.
Bill's intelligent. He's articulate. I think that's why the writer, that whoever wrote it, I mean, you wouldn't give that to fucking, somebody that was going to botch it.
Did Bill have was he personable? Did he have a bit of a temper? Was he a little tough to be around? I heard a great Bill
No,
Goldberg story.
I knew Bill when Bill played at Georgia. And I was bouncing at it.
Right.
I knew Bill when he was a football player. They'd win in Athens, and I'd run into him at this bar called Confetti, and we both had this buddy named Reza that was like he was a madman, kind of always kind of running the underbelly of Atlanta, and that's
Where's Reza today?
last time I saw it. Every time I go out to L.A., I'll go to the Symbiote. If I ever go out to a club, and it's like the club that has the waiting list, like it's the fucking club, I'll run into security, and then the next thing you know, like I'll say, yeah, can I get in? And it'll be like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden Reza will come up, and Reza's running the fucking place. Nash, come in.
Excellent.
So
Funny Goldberg story I heard. The reason I asked that was when ICP was in WCW, I forget the worker, but they were hanging out with somebody in the empty arena. This is before, it was a show or anything. And Bill kind of had his hand, he was walking around, he had his hands like in the front of his sweats. I guess just kind of resting his hands, but they were in the front of his sweats and I guess, on ball or whatever, So whatever worker was with ICP, like standing by ICP at the time, they went over to Goldberg. They were like, hey man, Bill pulls his hands out of his sweats and offers the hand, and the worker instinctively, not realizing his life could be on the line, goes, whoa, 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 like that. Bill takes him and pulls him over the railing and deposits him in the front row and keeps walking. That's my Bill Goldberg story for the day. That would have been a great promo, too. Like, they could have incorporated that into somehow the Gunther match. I think would have been more effective than the 60 minutes.
you have to realize when you get to be our age, man, you ain't picking up or doing shit until that fucking red light's on.
Right. Right. And the money's there.
I think my favorite thing that I've seen in the last 2 weeks was there was a guy, I was working out in the gym, and he said, you look good today, Nash. Let me take a picture of you. I said, all right. I said, send it to me. So he sent me this picture. I had a camouflage tank top on.
I saw that. Did you share that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I put it on Instagram. So it ended up on X with somebody saying that, Nash looks good. Oh dear God, he's gonna fucking he's coming back. Oh, he probably tore. And it's to the point now where they don't even know the story or anything. It's just like, oh, he probably tore his knee. Like, they don't know it's the quad. It's like they don't even get any of it right. I'm thinking to myself, like, I just want to fucking write back, like, don't fucking worry. Like, you don't have to worry, man.
Nothing getting me back.
Like,
at this point.
Yeah, because I've already come to the conclusion of there's no reason for me to do fucking anything I don't feel like doing.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, it's Kev. You're a bit of an anomaly, and you're kind of an outsider, no pun intended, in this way that a very small percentage of the world is in that position, right?
Yeah.
So your perspective is alien to most people.
Oh, but I mean, yeah, but my wife, because she lives with me, she absolutely gets it.
Oh, I get it intellectually, but sometimes, I don't know, when I have to talk to people on your behalf, maybe it involves phone calls or contracts, there's a little education that has to happen first because it's not a planet most people live on.
Right.
It's like Kev doesn't have to do anything right now and doesn't want to. So let's talk about So from there, let's understand this. Like if you, whoever you are that I'm talking to, literally did not have to leave your house today, or ever, if you didn't want to, what would make you leave the house?
Today, so I trained Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I was off today. And so I said, I haven't been out in the sun, in a while. So I said, I'll get like half hour, 45 minutes of sun today. And it was fucking blazing. So I talked to you when I was out there, which was perfect because I got off the phone with you and we talked for 33 minutes. And it was just like, okay, I did some other shit before I came out here. So I know I've been out here at least 40, 45 minutes. So that's like plenty of sun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, let me go get the mail. We drive up and get the mail because I know Tamara had to go to therapy for hip. So she went to therapy.
She's still doing PT on that?
Yeah, because she didn't have a hip replacement. She had that fucking procedure done first to see if they could fix the top of the fucking femur.
Yeah.
And it didn't hold, so she was like non-weight bearing for 3 fucking months. And then they did the surgery. So her muscles had all atrophied instead of it.
Oh.
So the fucking rehab is just,
Where was she in the process? When we were at dinner once, and she might have even been using a cane to get to the restroom, and you were supposed to be going to like Europe the next week. I'm sitting there going, how the hell? I didn't say it, but I'm like,
yeah,
how is she gonna walk around cobblestone streets and
then it was one thing after another. Then it was like, I got the herniated disc in my back.
Yeah.
And then I tore my fucking shoulder. So it's like, and by the time you go on vacation, it's like, it's no place you haven't been. So it's not like, all it is like really, really expensive fucking New York City.
Mm. Yeah. So before we leave Goldberg altogether, Kev, this is, I'm kind of happy about this, and let me tell you why. Whenever, because I always take kind of the old school perspective here as a fan, and I know it's not, you can't use that yardstick. It's not 1998. I understand that. And just like Michael said to you, like, different time, like, I get it. However, I get happy when I see that they use Bill Goldberg as a device to differentiate from everything going on at the top. I'm going to say top of it is a top angle, but I'm talking about like the Cena and the Punk and all that stuff. When they bring Bill back, because it vindicates how I feel. It shows the value. And I don't know if the match is going to be good or bad or whatever, but it's just enough to have Bill Goldberg on television.
It definitely will make, I guarantee it'll do better numbers than anything else I got.
Yes. And I love that.
You know, the funniest thing of all of it is to listen to the ex-wrestling podcast people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all the ex-wrestling podcast people that have this. Well, why does Goldberg get to come in and get a title? Like, but they're going from like the psychology of the. All it is because they're so fucking upset that they're not getting a fucking another shot. Like that they like.
Do they really not understand? How could anyone have worked in this business as long as any of the ex-wrestler podcast people have?
Fucking jealousy doesn't have fucking an IQ.
They should. It's all about the draw.
That's
why I never understood all the heat Vince Russo gave himself the title. Vince Russo was speared through the cage, and it was that, what? He landed? He's got the fucking title. It was gone the next night. But it was that, oops, oh my God, you fucked up moment. I got it. I think, like most of my friends, and I was watching at the time, we got it. It was a fucking hoot.
Yeah, but
Nobody won the title. No one ever wins the title of wrestling, first of all.
That was the other thing. I've been listening to some different podcasts, and one of them had some talent that were like champions, I think at TNA, and they were talking to him like, so since became the world champion, like, what's it feel like to have everybody in the locker room gunning for you? Like it's a fucking shoot.
Is there a wrestler that said that, or was it a lay person that asked what it was like to have people gunning?
Somebody that knows better.
So, but okay, you know what though? I'm not gonna totally discount that. You know why? Because I would say to you, what does it feel like to have everyone politically gunning for your spot?
Yeah, but that's
valid.
Politically, I mean,
maybe that's what they meant.
No, they didn't.
No,
they were talking about how hard the person was working, and they've gotten like, it's almost like they were trying to validate that they had rose through the ranks on hard work, and that's why they were champion right now, and they would be hard to beat.
They put in the time.
Especially when you ask people, what's your dream title match?
Mm-hmm. Dream match.
And the person is so
Mount Rushmore, maybe.
The person is so green that they're talking to doesn't name a person in their company that they could draw money with. That's how green
they go to
are.
What it
they
would be
fucking
a good
find
contest.
Yeah, some Japanese girl that they'll never wrestle. That's over at fucking New Japan. Like and you look at it and you're just like, oh, you dumbass. Like you didn't even no, you're supposed to draw money. That's why you have that prop around your waist. It's all it is a prop. You're trying to draw money. Why are you like, well, really nobody in our locker room. Let me think.
Karl Malone.
Can they be dead? Fuck yeah, because you'll really draw some money against them. And then you wonder why they bring Bill back.
Yeah. But at the time, like, go back to the WCW run, right? So at that time, there was nothing hotter than the NWO.
For 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean those were the crucial 2 years in that the ratings war, attitude era, et cetera, et cetera. So, but in that time, so you're working on top, belt, no belt, doesn't fucking matter. Did that show anybody that the belt, other than a little bit of an angle, somebody wants to win it, somebody wants to keep it, is so insignificant in crafting what draws money? But did they get that?
I think that as we became popular, we didn't take all the belts right away. It took Hulk a while to get the belt, and we spray painted it. It took a while for Scott and I to beat Harlem Heat. I think that was at Havoc. So we came in June. I think we beat them in October. So we didn't get it took us a while for us to beat Book and Stevie. So,
but you were over like pussy. Like what?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time though, the optic of us, Kid came in and took the cruiserweight, so then we had cruiserweight, tag belts, and the heavyweight. We had the NWO had our core four guys had.
There's that old saying that wrestlers would say, he didn't need a belt. Like when they talk about Snuka in WWE, or didn't need to give him a belt. He was over. So, and that's kind of what that's like, right?
Yeah.
If you're over enough, the belt doesn't it's not going to add any significance. I mean, maybe a little bit for angles and stuff, but
no, I don't think at this point right now the belt's been away from Cody long enough where he doesn't need the belt.
Yeah, right. That's kind of what we're talking about. How's Cody doing in your estimation? We've always kind of kept our eye.
Well, he was
on...
gone for a while, so he was missed. He made some little slight variations of things he was doing, like knowing that you're going to probably run in during the course of a day. You've got a tracksuit on instead of a fucking three-piece suit, which is huge for me. But I notice little things when he works that are smart. Like early when they go for a false finish, he doesn't always just do the 1-2 kick out on 3. He'll do 1-2 and then kick out, but use the other hand, like kick out, like using the shoulder and the hand to push the guy off him.
Like you're believably trying to get someone off you.
Yeah, and you're not hurt enough that you're at that. It's a degree of. I mean, it's just like I always say. It's that degree of believability that he's not. Yeah, you've got him off his feet, but he's not anywhere near getting beat right now. I tell you one thing I noticed when I watched him and Uso is Uso did this fucking gimmick where he kicked. Cody was like sitting in the corner and he kicked him and Cody's head hit the turn and it looked like it fucking killed him on TV. But that wasn't where they were going, so like he almost basically no-sold it. And I was thinking to myself, like, if you fucking took your time with technology being so good right now, they could have piped in the fucking referee's ear, tell Cody to sell the fuck out of that. That looked amazing. Like, you know what I mean?
There's a missed opportunity to make that moment shine.
I don't know. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't, but it's, the minute I saw it, I would have been able to been on a headset and said, sell the fuck out of that.
How many guys apply a psychology to a kick out? There could be some good kick out psychology.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about watching AWA and somebody took over the book and they on tag matches, instead of like doing a deal where they would jump and throw the elbow on the back of the guy making the cover, which inevitably doesn't make the person fucking on the bottom get up.
If anything, it compresses them.
Yeah,
more.
they would come in and grab the guy by an ankle or two ankles and pull him off the cover.
Right.
And it just made so much more sense, and optically, it just it looked like it was like, yeah, that's what you would do. But then it almost kind of gave it a roller derby kind of feel. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, if you've ever watched roller derby in your life,
you pull the front guy down.
But it's just one of those things where it's like when it's that after he's gotten through that back jam and they give him the whip that he's going for. Yeah, it's just like. So it can tend to make it really worky, especially when you think that everything on earth is a work anyway.
Yeah.
But
for dramatic effect, I understand. Like when somebody's prone, totally out of it. Michaels used to do this a lot, and somebody will go for the cover, and they're selling dead. 1, 2, and then the thrust, a violent, shocking thrust out right before the 3 count. What an alarm went off after 2. You heard 1. Oh, what is that? 2. Oh wait, that's the ref's hand. Like some kind of on the 1-2 struggling maybe to push him off.
You can't. You won't because
you wouldn't get the pop.
No, that was the whole psychology of that was. This is it. Oh fuck. This is no.
It's when Michael Myers sits up.
The false finishes were so close to being that you had that'll work to this day if it's not overused in the match, to where that on the comeback you do those close false finishes.
Right. Just from a believability standpoint, like when you had somebody in a small package and they're struggling on the 1, the 2, and then they get them off before the 3, but not as effective is what we're saying.
Yeah, no,
maybe more believable, though not as effective.
Because what you're going to do is you're not, like, if you're doing high spots and into finishes, there's so little bit to watch. The only thing to watch is, did that finish him? 1, 2, no. Did that finish him? 1, 2, no. Okay, they're getting closer. The finishes are getting bigger. Now they go for their finisher. Okay, this is it. That's all you want. All you want is one time in a match, especially on a house show, to where the people, you can hear them like you got them, where the whole crowd goes, oh.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know what makes me react like that, Kev? You ever been riding on a subway or a bus? Probably not, but recently. But if you can remember back in the day, and then maybe summer commute, and someone gets up and you've got that sweat stripe right down the center of the seat. You could see their fucking canoe that they left right there. Literal butt sweat print on the seat. And all you can think of is a TUSHY bidet. Like, if this person can get home, freshen up a little bit. Listen, if your manhood feels like you're like the Florida Panhandle down there in your jockeys, this is great news, because you can refresh yourself as many times throughout the day as you need to with the TUSHY bidet without having to get in the shower. It transforms your swamp ass into a dewy cloud. TUSHY is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and your bottom health for life. Kevin has his installed. I have mine installed. That's, of course, reason enough for you to do it, but their elevated bidet collection nurtures your bottom with instant warm water. They never run cold. A soothing heated seat, UV sterilization for next level hygiene. The options are all there. TUSHY, TUSHY. Instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, smearing, your ass looks like a Pollock painting. TUSHY pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient, fresh water. Keep your swampiest body parts fresh and cool. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet when you order at HelloTushy.com with promo code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q. Go to HelloTushy.com. That could be jarring, Kev, right? A little blast of hot water, cold water, in the middle of the night. So you definitely want to explore the temperature options there with our friends TUSHY.
It's so weird too. Like when you travel to Europe, it's like every hotel room has one.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, and I know that we, like, as a whole, Americans, their hygiene is like, we shower way. There's a lot of people in Europe that shower twice a week. You get in an elevator with them, man. It's just like, fucking beefaroni.
Yeah. But you know what? With the bidet, they're able to stay fresh in their nether regions, and you can too, guys, with TUSHY. Go to HelloTushy.com/KLIQ. Use that code KLIQ to get your 10% off. Well, thank you very much. Steve brings up a good point in the chat here. He said, in a kayfabe sense, your dream match should be a no contest, 30-second squash. It's your dream match. You want to go over. You want to be impressive. You want to hit your finish like a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Dream match would be any motherfucker I could beat in 15 seconds, get a huge payday, and be in the car on the way.
No, but
home by
when they
11.
ask you the question, though, it's your job because you're cutting an interview for your company as their champion. So you've got to draw money. You got to pick somebody that you're going to work with in the next. I mean, it's a work, so everybody knows where they're going next.
Well, the business answer, yes, but I'm saying if this wasn't a work, you'd want your easiest match possible as your dream match.
If it wasn't a work, and if it wasn't a work, fucking 99.9% of the people wouldn't do it.
Correct. So do you think the Goldberg, I'm trying to get as much of, I'm hearing that the Goldberg discussion can easily go on for an hour to an hour and a half. So I'm just trying to do my best to get there. Is this going to be a competitive match? Is this going to be,
I don't know.
Are we going to see a
don't
title
know.
change even, perhaps?
No. It
wouldn't make sense, right?
I saw it today on something where it adamantly stated this would be Bill's final match.
Yeah. Well, I think Bill has said that too, right? This is the
Bill just wants to have one last. And I think one of the reasons is when Bill came back, he signed like a 5-match deal. So I know he's not going to give back money. So he's, and he's not going to demean him. I mean, that's another thing. When fucking guys, like when guys would make more money than Scott and I, like they'd get a better deal. Like we didn't have any animosity towards them. We'd be like Toro, man, like way to go. Bravo. Fucking you just raised the bar. Now we know, like, okay, that's our next goal. We'll go you're giving it to him. If there's nobody not having a better deal than you, then fucking it's real hard to get past that envelope. Somebody's got to be pushing it. That's the work.
Did your friends in high places, like I'd say over the last, let's say 10 years, Bill Goldberg is 58, I think. So he's 8 years younger than you. So let's say anywhere over the last 8 years, did any friends in creatively high places, do they all know better than to even broach the subject with you? Now, I know you're not going to get in the ring and jackknife. Well, I mean, you jackknife somebody.
No, I'm not going to do anything.
But did they know better than to even ever bring it up?
Of course.
Okay.
They're my friends. I mean, it
was never a situation where Bill was called because Kevin said no, right? They don't ask you.
No.
Okay. Understood. But you do think we're gonna get 10 minutes out of this match, you think?
I don't know. How long did he go with Lesnar the first time? 3? People weren't disappointed.
It wouldn't be anticlimactic at this point to
fucking beat Gunther in 3 fucking minutes and then fucking leave stand over him and fucking drop the belt on him and leave?
Well, you couldn't do that to Gunther.
Why can't you?
Well, because
every fucking babyface now can cut promos on him. He's got heat by saying that he's the fucking man. Like you just got you're not something that's never been done that would add a different layer to the whole complexity of the psychology of that character, and to watch him because he gave ground to Bill when Bill first came down.
Mm-hmm.
When he was spitting in his face.
Mm-hmm.
He gave ground. He showed a little bit then he scattered out around Bill and went up to, with his head between his fucking knees. So he already did that for him. And then he came back, and Bill came with the sit down, and then fucking Gunther basically, brought it home.
Well, I'm curious to see what they do. So they built something interesting, and I hope they do something interesting with it for the payoff.
I bet you it's better than the Tyson Paul fucking fight.
The shit I took this afternoon was better than that. Kev, some feedback from last week. Wild 2098 was watching, and along these lines said, the Smarks are shitting all over Goldberg versus Gunther. I just hope they prove them all wrong. They usually are wrong, just like they were with Rock. And he gave us a 40-plus minutes and took everyone's finisher in that match. Glad Goldberg getting one last show. Just enjoy the ride, you jabrones.
Well, to that gentleman, I just have to say, Rock was 48, 49. So I mean,
Well, yeah, no, I don't think he's
10
saying that you'll get the same thing, but
I'm just saying 10 years in fucking wrestling years. Fuck.
true. Turd Ferguson says, hope Goldberg really takes it seriously, as in great shape for this. It's most likely going to be his last match. It would be great if Goldberg has his son involved and his son saves him, then Goldberg retires and go out on a positive note. Maybe people will stop whining about Bret Hart and Undertaker for a while. Anything for his son in this? I mean, it's been mentioned. Part of the initial.
I talked to Bill a couple weeks ago about we talked about something. Well, I just was just checking on his health.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was, because we almost crossed paths going down to bioaccelerator for stem cells, and Bill was I was kind of the liaison to get Bill to, because Bill wanted to, somebody that had been down there. So I told him, I said, if this is what you seriously got wrong with you, I said, I'm telling you, I said, there's one place that I know of that can make a difference. It's this place. You got to go to Medellin. You got to go to bioaccelerator.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Bill went.
But to your point about this with the son, and were you discussing work with him or just
no?
health?
We were just I knew he had a match coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and I just asked him. I said, how, like, people don't know this, but a couple of years ago, fucking, he hit a knot was using a chainsaw and hit a knot, and it ended up hitting him in the leg. So he took a fucking whack with a chainsaw, and so I mean, he's taken, and on top of that, fucking, I don't know anybody that broke into the business that would have had more trauma than Bill. Bill was a fucking, SEC fucking defensive player.
Yeah.
And went on to play with the pros where he got hurt.
So you're saying coming into the business, he
Coming
was
into the
already,
business, he was he'd already, the amount of neck and head injuries and body injuries and just all the shit that
Mm-hmm.
You don't start for an SEC football team on the line and not fucking
pay the price.
Yeah, and you're that's Division I college athletics at major schools. The athletes are pretty fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. The one BG wrote in said, one problem with the NXT model is wrestlers don't grow up on the main roster as much to build support. Diesel went from rookie to mid-card to main event all on TV. Now with NXT being bigger, guys stay down longer to carry that show. Bron worked on Raw with Dolph 3 years ago. He's even wrestled Seth in NXT. In the last year on Raw, he went from IC champ to a bodyguard. Seems like the order is mixed up. Interesting.
Well, number one, Diesel wasn't a rookie when he came in '93. Diesel had been Oz, Vinny Vegas, and Master Blaster prior to that. So,
But your progression, fans got to watch when you come in. They get to know you. You get involved a little, and then
Raw,
eventually you're a champ.
but Raw was an hour long. You never worked against the top guy on Raw. The squash matches, you might have one 2-segment match with name talent. So, but it was an hour.
Yeah. The earliest iterations of Raw from the Manhattan Center. Yeah.
The ones where Diesel grew up. It was hard to get fucking TV time.
I know what you did get. You got fucking ham sandwiches, bruh. All you wanted. Mustard, probably probably a little mayo, a little mustard.
We didn't have that. We didn't have that $5 billion Netflix fucking deal at the time.
No, you didn't.
Caviar and fucking croissants.
Trailer Park Cinderella. Punches are dead. Cena and Orton are the only guys left who do them. They got everybody doing those forearms now, and that's how they are trained at the Performance Center. Trash-looking forearms. We've talked about the punch a bit here. I was watching some forearm action this week. Is this a protection thing? Is it a...
I have no idea.
The hands?
I went through
Okay.
It's very hard. I don't think people work enough to. I noticed just the difference between the guys that stomped people in my era versus the people that stomp people now.
See, we haven't covered the stomp. We've done the chop, the ridiculousness
the stomps,
of the chop, the punch, the
watch,
stomp.
Watch Scott Hall stomp somebody, kick him, but in a stomping motion, not field goal kick him, like stomp him, like a downward, you know, a working wrestling kick. Watch Scott, and then watch everyone else that came in 12, 15 years after him.
I feel like Orndorff. Maybe that was knee drops.
Oh, Orndorff was a great stomper.
Orndorff was a good stomper too. Yeah.
But I mean, Shawn Michaels was good. Bret had a good stomp. But all those, like, Bret's was always real deliberate. It was like they came in ones. He wasn't going to rifle. He would kick you coming in, like, repetitively. But if he was going to stomp you, like stomp your arm or stuff, it was one. And you'd sell the fuck out of it. And it always made it just, you know, he was smart enough to differentiate, you know, doing that above, like, three. But Scott would, you know, everybody kind of, it was a different style back then. Everybody kind of took their time. Because we did so much house shows and we had to put time in.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go out and do a 20-minute match on a pay-per-view once every 3 months, as opposed to doing 25 minutes every night for 27 straight nights. And maybe work 4 or 5 fucking matches during the 3 days of TV.
Yeah. Dadvastator. Young guys like to max. Oh, we're talking about lifting here. Like to max because they haven't been injured and old. When Nash was young, he respected the max. We all do. I'm 51, post triple bypass, and my friends, I don't max. I would if I was a crazed youngster, though. Maxing is super cool when we are young. Just think it over. Any truth to this?
No, there's nothing to think over. That's why I've got gray hair now. I have wisdom. It took me a while to get that.
Right.
Fuck, I wouldn't even have touched I wouldn't have touched a flat bench. I would have never flat benched.
This came up last week too. That you said,
I would never have flat benched. why? And I would have done so much more probably dumbbell work. Man, if I would have done dumbbell before you fuck your shoulders up and everything fucking balances,
But the flat bench, I don't know. I feel like when I was in high school, and that's what was in the gym. I don't know if there was an incline.
yeah,
bench,
in
was
fucking
there?
1930, they had the fucking band that went run around your waist. You turned it on and it wiggled your fat ass.
The
I
weight
mean,
loss gimmick, yeah.
right. I mean, fuck.
We've come so far, is what Kevin's saying, in all respects.
I still think this when Arthur Jones came out with that original line of Nautilus, where everything was compound, like it was. You did leg extensions, then you pulled down. You never got up. From that seat, you pulled down the leg pads, and you did leg presses. And if you did it the way Arthur Jones, you would have done the leg extensions to positive and negative failure, and then you would have went and pushed and done the same thing. And that's it. One set, and you were done with the machine. And we had that at Tennessee. We had that whole complete set, and we weren't allowed to use free weights. So my freshman year, I just trained on that. But I got strong as fuck on that stuff.
Ed Jones? Who is this? Edward Jones? Who did you say that? You dropped a name before.
Well, now it's fuck, Arthur Jones.
Arthur Jones. All right. Joe Weider's the only name I would
He was I'm
wow.
almost positive Arthur Jones was originally like the county seat of Volusia County, where I live, is DeLand. I'm pretty sure that Arthur Jones is from DeLand, that came up with Nautilus.
Wow.
Really eccentric. I think he had like some rare animals over at his crib.
Now, the Nautilus is like the pulley system, right?
It was chain driven. The originals were chain driven.
Okay.
And it was all selectorized. It was weight plates, like slabs of plates, look like gold bricks.
Right, and you move the pin.
Yeah.
Was that the first break from free weights? The first system was a Nautilus system?
I think that was the first. I think there was homemade shit like Vince Garanda or whatever his name is that was out in Hollywood. Like he had made some different things like moon benches and shit like that. To stretch your rib cage. Like he had his like. They started with that isometrics with Charles Atlas. That was like the first. Then Weider came along. Then Weider came with the progressive resistance training, and modern day bodybuilding was kind of born out of that. But I think the first machines, because there were like universal type machines that every gym, every high school had. That universal that had the lap pull down there was no seat. You just sat on the floor and your buddy dug his fucking hands in your fucking traps as you did pull.
So you didn't fly up when you were, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just fucking horse. As you got older and you realized that you were compressing the guy's nerves in his neck, you did like this Indian scissor hold to kind of hold them down, and you kind of held them down by their weight, from behind. Yeah. So.
Stung by a bee yesterday. When's the last
That was back when on the universal bench, it was a big deal. Like when you could, with your ass flat on the bench 220, because 220 was the stack, brother. That's what this guy's referring to with the maxing and all that. That's such a. I mean, that's. You're not going to hurt yourself doing that.
Razzle Zach, having 5 moves of doom and still getting over should be seen as a positive thing because you have to be so good at everything else that goes along with pro wrestling, psychology, pacing, etc. that the moves don't matter as much. A bad indie wrestler can't do only 5 moves and get over. They have to do more of the flips and high spots. Think so, Raz. Razzle gets it.
Yeah, but you gotta. I mean, if you tell a story, moves and movement are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm. Well, storytelling. You know, it's funny. Were we talking off the air about like hearing people put together matches?
Yeah.
Like when you're listening to other wrestlers do it, and they're talking almost entirely about moves. When I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to do this, and then this will be good if you do this, and then, and absent from the discussion, am I wrong, is often what are we doing with the ebb and flow of the crowd, of the momentum, of the story of the match. It becomes about just the physicality.
When I would go to indie matches, and I would just come out and I would just sign that I come out and like welcome the crowd before the first match. The guys, a lot of times they would ask me, "Hey, would you watch my match?" Because a lot of times I would come back out and sign an intermission. So I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll watch your match." Then I'd watch their match, and it would be fucking just from start to finish high spots. And they'd come back and they'd walk up to me and they said, "What'd you think of my match?" I said, "What story were you trying to tell me?" And they just look at me like, "What?"
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like, what do you mean? I said, "Well, what was the story?" I said, "You did a bunch of fucking spots." I said, "Hell," I said, "you both fucking threw blows in the first 30 seconds, so I don't know who the babyface knew the heel is." Like it didn't make any sense.
The behavior didn't indicate who the face and the heel was.
I remember that one of the things that used to irk me, one of the few, but Vince Russo would always say, "Bro, man, there's no such thing as heels and baby faces anymore." You know, because
saying not to worry about that because.
Well, I mean, he would state that because like the lines had been so blurred character-wise.
Right.
And so he meant it in that form.
But fans have to root for somebody, right? Even if
Well,
it's
no,
the heel.
You can go 50-50. It doesn't matter. But when you set up a fucking match, I mean, the fundamental is always going to be you work from the finish back. What's you got three minutes before you go out there. You got 3 minutes. What's the finish? How we getting there? That's all you need to know. But you need that. You have to have that. And whoever's like somebody has to give a comeback, somebody has to take a comeback. So whoever's taking the comeback is usually the heels, and the baby faces are making the comeback because heels don't make comebacks.
How much detail?
Heels get heat.
How much detail do you have to give somebody? I'm not talking about someone you're in a program with, you're working them, 15 nights a month. But like if you go somewhere to just do a shot and you're getting in the ring with another professional and you get together, how in detail are you going to go with them? When it's somebody you work on TV every week, there's a shorthand. You don't even have to talk. But with somebody new,
I would always say this. You've watched me work before? And they'll say, yeah. I say, okay. I always say, I don't do much. But
good for you. You're being honest.
But what's that?
I said, good for you. You're being honest.
No, I mean, I'm just telling what I would say. I mean, I was like, watch out for a lot of shit off the top rope. But I would say, this is what, this thing I do. I say, this is what it's called. So basically, this is snake eyes. This is, if I short arm clothesline you, this is how I'm going to do it. So I mean, if it was of importance, there was 1,500 people, 2,000 people out there where you don't want to go out. I mean, there's enough people where you feel like working. So if it's some fucking bullshit thing, it's just like.
But what about the stuff you're talking about, like telling the story and like, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to like, do you go into that type of detail with them?
No.
That gets called out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Because if you're babyface and you're running the match, if you're the one that's got, if you're calling the match and you're out there and you're the babyface, like you'll say like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like when I come back, cut me off. So.
Right.
But you don't. If this guy, if you go out there and you're going to do 10 minutes, and you've given 2 spots for this guy to cut you off, and the people fucking. And you're letting them get some heat on you, and the people ain't buying it. There's no reason. It's like time to go home.
Oh, right.
Like they're not buying this, and I'm not gonna fucking give them my whole fucking repertoire. I was just gonna fucking.
So you know at a certain point when it's gonna be when there's nothing you guys will be able to do to save the match.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. I mean, they just don't buy they don't buy the opponent.
Yeah, you can't change that, right?
It's kind of like that little girl that jumped on Rhea's back on fucking Raw.
She comes running down to the ring. Perez, I don't want to not mention her name. She runs and she does that run in. Crowd pops. And I'm going, what's she going to do? What's she going to do? I mean, Rhea picks her up, just deposits her face first on the corner. I guess they just needed a small diversion, but like you see.
Yeah, because Raquel, I gave her a check. That was a good choke slam.
Yeah. I thought the women had a great showing.
I get pissed off at her because she always works down. She works small. I'll see her selling and she'll make herself small instead of staying up and selling big. Like moving your hands this way instead of dropping, so you can drop down to them, because when the more movements you make where it looks like they got to teeter to knock you off your fucking base when you're that much bigger than they are. Like you can work fucking 20, 30 seconds of just teetering where like then that person hits the ropes like here it comes now, and then man, she gets her foot up, boom, cuts her off. Yeah, and she's not giving herself she's working too small to because you need that as a person tries to knock you down, then they use more momentum. They're going to use then eventually you want them to use the ropes, which now here comes the high spot that either you're going to take the bump or fucking in this case if you're getting heat, then you cut the person off. So
yeah,
so that's just that was set up good for that reason when she turned in. She turned into that choke slam through the table, and then Graves sold it well because it did make a good. It made a good sound. It was mic'd right. Like the whole thing, like the sound was good. And he said, "My God, did you hear that?" I was like, "You did," which yeah. By him being spot on the second that you heard it, you thought like, "Fuck that, bitch, that was stiff." Then you went, "No, it wasn't stiff. It's a fucking table. It's breaking the fall, and she knows what the fuck she's doing."
Correct. Yeah. They did call out the sound for that. You're right. I do remember that. You mentioned stiff. Kev, what's worse than a stiff pair of blue jeans that don't have a lot of give? I mean, it can be oppressive to walk around for a gentleman in a pair of jeans that don't give as they should. Kev, that's why the perfect jean, which is in my hand, and my pair is right here. This is my pair. And I'm going to show you the kind of the give that it has, the stretch that it has, the flex that it has. I mean, it is denim, but there is flex. They're so comfortable. They move with you. And when I tell you these are better than I could have ever imagined, I'm not working you. Huge range of sizes, okay, and fits to choose from. You're bound to find a pair you really like. They feel custom made because you can drill down into the details, the fit, the color. They're stylish too. They look good. Points for that. For a limited time, we're going to give you a great deal with this. But when you talk about the perfect jean, there's a lot you got to deliver if your company's called the perfect jean, right? Maybe you've got bigger thighs. Maybe you've got a belly. You just hate stiff denim. So the word perfect is usually not going to apply because everybody's body is different. But if you go on the site, you see all of your options that you can put together to get the perfect jean. You're going to see why this is called the perfect jean. For a limited time, our listeners can get 15% off their first order, plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc. Or you can Google the perfect jean, and don't forget to use the code KLIQ15, KLIQ15. Okay. They also have organic tees. Okay. I love the t-shirts. Also super soft. The fit makes my arms and chest look a little younger, maybe I spend 5 minutes at a gym at some point. Summer's coming, so it's time to, the summer's here, for God's sakes. I had 300-degree days here in Jersey. Think about it. Perfect shorts, or maybe the perfect jean. You pair the perfect tee with it, and you're ready to rock. All right, perfect jean always has free shipping, exchanges, and returns. You can have peace of mind knowing that your order is completely risk-free. It's finally time to stop crushing your balls and all those uncomfortable, stiff jeans. And you can do that by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get that 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, free exchanges when you use the code KLIQ15, KLIQ15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc. Promo code KLIQ15. After your purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the show. Tell them we sent you. And don't forget, fuck your khakis. Get the perfect jean. Thank you, Perfect Jean. I love my perfect jean. I might just hold on to this for the rest of the show. Caress it over my chest.
Love needed. I was just reading the sidebar here.
Yeah.
And Steve was saying that have a real short match with Gunther and Goldberg. Have, say, Bill spear Gunther, but maybe like a double knockout spear type thing, and then have Rollins come down and cash in Money in the Bank and pin Gunther.
Feasible.
And then,
you could see
and then now you're taking that to, so.
I can see it.
Yep.
If you want to be part of the audience that's here for the live tape, you can go to kliqthistv.com, join the 11 Soft Club, come to the pre-show meeting, chat with us. We'll chat with you. You can ask your questions, get your show a little early without commercials as well when you go to kliqthistv.com. Hey, Britt, like Britt here, is a longtime member, and she says, big butt friendly jeans are the perfect jeans. God bless the healthy butt. Now, there's a line, right? I think gentlemen would like a full figured lady. Curves in the right places, I think they call it. Kev, I watched Raw, and Bron, I wanted to ask you about this. Every week the spear gets, from the layperson's perspective, scarier and scarier. He hit Penta. He's airborne. Penta's airborne. Both of them are airborne for that spear. Now, Bron sold the neck. I hope he didn't get injured for real, but it's just, is there any safe way to do those spine compressing moves?
Nope. Oh, well.
There's no guarantee when you leave your feet like that. You're totally unprotected. I mean, he's a good athlete. and he's in great shape, but not taking anything away from the execution. It's believable as fuck. I mean, that's, I guess, part of the problem is why I'm saying this is because
He's
it
fucking
looks
young,
like he's
man.
killing himself. Oh, to be young, right?
Yeah, fucking bulletproof. Just look at all the shit Kevin Owens has done in his career, all the crazy bumps, and now he's, looking at getting his neck fused.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically have been waiting to see how the spinal trauma, how it subsides or not before they determine, what the procedure's going to be. So
Yeah.
that's
I don't know, I just
that's
get,
some
get,
scary
get
shit,
concerned
man.
when I see stuff like that because, I mean, from the NFL, we've seen the horror
I wish
stories.
Kevin good luck with that whole fucking deal.
Yeah, of course.
I saw a clip. He was on Cody's show, and he was just saying how like he was amazed. He'd been sitting, since the injury, just sitting around and nothing, and all of a sudden, like in 1 week, every symptom you could possibly have, from the numb hands, the neck, to like everything started to hurt.
Kevin's one of those guys from his work in Ring of Honor, just going all the way back if you look at his career. One of those guys, I think they used to say this about Sabu all the time, and I think Owens is probably somebody. He gave a lot more than he ever got back, I think. He's certainly, he made it to the big dance, and he's, on the big show, but man, for as much as he gave, for as long as he gave, and just the style, I guess is what I mean. He gave a lot.
It's like, I look back when I first, like, when Mick first came into WCW, and he was working his angle with Vader, and that's when Watts pulled the cushions,
Oh, the mats
around the fucking ring. God, man, I remember we were in Montgomery doing TV, and Vader got a hold of a coal shovel, like a shoot coal shovel. And guys were coming down, like we were feeding for shovels, but fucking like Mick took a couple, because Mick was in the angle with him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? I remember there was a whole line of guys, like 8 guys at Gorilla that they were going to send. And then Vader hit Mick with the first 2 shots so hard before they sent us that when they said go, fucking 5 guys didn't go. And it was me, Hog, and Phineas. Fucking, there was, the Godwins and me.
Yeah.
We ran down there. And I remember Mark took the first shot. I took the second shot, and then Dennis took the third, and then he staggered, like was starting to stagger up, like he was going to take another one, like go get back to his feet and take another one. And we were when
You
we
pulled
knew
him down?
Yeah, I fucking tackled him. I tackled him under by the apron. I took his feet. I said, "What are you doing? Stay the fuck down."
Saved his life.
Fuck, man.
But Mick's a good example when you bring up
Yeah.
as somebody who, he got it back. He got paid back with he was a centerpiece of WWE for so long.
Yeah, he didn't get it paid back.
You don't think?
Fuck no, man. He gave you can't give that as much as he gave. There's not enough to give back.
But he was lauded for it. He was given main
That's
event
great,
status
man.
for a
He's
long
your-
time. He was one of the faces
Ask
of the
ask
company.
Ronnie Coleman if it was worth it. He'll say
Well-
yeah. He'll say yeah, but fuck, man. Look at what Ronnie Coleman was, and look how Ronnie Coleman is now.
Well, it's never a dollar for dollar trade, I guess, when you're talking about your physical condition for the rest of your life versus
But
a finite run in a company. But he was given the main stage.
Yeah, but there's Nobody, there's certain, I didn't have to give that as much as he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell my wife too, though, I came in fucked up. I mean, I was injured physically to the point where I couldn't run before I got in the business. My right knee was gone.
But if I'm to look at you and Mick, what I'm going to say is Kev had the size. So Kev could walk out and be an impressive figure and captivate the crowd, where if you had Mick's body, you got to do something else.
Well, Mick was
and
still a big guy.
Vehicle.
He was still a big guy for that era.
Big guy, but look at what he was in the ring with, the Ahmed Johnsons of the world, and
but I
Kevin
think
Nash's, and
I think that's a you look at shots of Mick when he was young, and he's fucking 16 years old with a Hawaiian shirt on, fucking doing splashes off the fucking point of the garage onto a fucking mattress.
Yeah, no, I know.
No, that's either there or it's not.
Right.
I was wanting to take somebody baseline and dunk on them.
But if you had limited skill, you need to go off the house. That's got to be your thing.
I remember
you're good on the stick.
I remember jumping off the fucking edge, like the corner of our house when I was a kid. And I don't know how fucking tall that is, man.
Why? Why are you both doing this? I never jumped off my house. I never had a desire to jump off my house, I guess. Were you like fucking around with friends, or you dove into the snow?
We used to jump off the back of the garage all the time.
Did your mother know about this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we like if she was in the backyard putting fucking laundry up, we'd be doing it. But like we used to go, like she had.
Is this Mark too? He's out there doing this?
Yeah, she had lattice on the side of the garage in the back, and she would grow roses.
Mm.
But in the wintertime, there ain't nothing that's grown there, so we just use it as ladders to go up on the roof. So you could peg fuckers with snowballs, but eventually it's like you got to get down, and you're not going to go down that. You're not going to go down. Well, you're not going to go down the lattice, and you're not going to go down the front of the garage because that's the fucking concrete. So behind the garage is where you jump.
Kev, it appears we're on the precipice of another Iran deal. I'm going to say another because I think the ruling party has a short memory. I remember Obama being lambasted for the Iran deal, which was in essence an exchange of resources for the promise of limiting development of nuclear energy just for that, for
no other reason to have that than to have inspectors go down and look at it. Now you have a blueprint of what the fuck is down there.
Right. But I just remember how critical they were of the Obama plan. Because it was an exchange. We're giving them something just to promise not to build bombs to kill us. He's weak. Obama's weak. So now I open today and I see the terms of this deal. It's still secret if this is accurate, if the sources are accurate. The terms that are being discussed are a $20 to $30 billion investment in new Iranian non-enrichment nuclear program that would be used for civilian energy purposes. So money for the development of energy and the promise of not enough nuclear development for weapons. This is the exact goddamn blueprint. I mean, there may be some differences in details that Obama did. And oh my God, all I remembered was giving the money. You're giving the terrorists money to. Now we're right back. We're right back to seeing the only way this can happen
It's a different world, though.
It's a different world in Tehran.
Yeah.
Do explain.
This regime this guy's getting old, man. And this regime this is probably the sanctions and everything else that they've had put against them. I mean, they're a young, brilliant country full of talented doctors and scientists that are basically all trained here. And they just need, in 1977, like women went to college in Iran, in Iran, and there were movie houses. It was, I mean, it was almost as Western as so it's not, and that's besides Beirut in Lebanon. There's really not a place I could think of that was more progressive. So
But what I'm talking about is 2015. I'm talking about the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, whatever the hell it was called. It was just called the Iran deal.
yeah, I mean, my whole problem with all this shit is I know that I'm a little bit hawkish. I mean, that's my nature. So when you sent me the text when they first moved the B2s out of Missouri, you said, "Well, it looks like we're in this shit now."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Nah, not necessarily." I said, "They're sending those to Guam," because what I had researched was they were going to send them to Guam, and then at the same time, that's when Israel started to bomb the eastern southern shore of Iran, so they could make sure that there weren't any radar situations or anything
When you cross over the airspace.
yeah, they come right in through the Gulf there, which made sense, But no, they said, "Fuck it, man. We're just going to fly across Iran and come in the back door." But like, they're at a point right now where I'm going to just roll this back real quick. Name 3 days in a row where China or Russia hasn't had a comment in the last 5 years. Russia got shit to say. Yeah, Russia's got nothing to say. China's got nothing to say. Fucking, because you know why? Because ain't nobody to say that we knocked it out for 2 or 3 weeks. Like to talk shit about, like, just the fact that you pulled that off. It's still precision armaments and a plane that's fucking 190 feet fucking across with that shows up like a BB on a fucking radar map. To know that this country has this is one thing. To know that this country can use it, hey, if that was a nuke, shit, there would be no fucking conversations of whether or not they got the fucking thing.
Well, every presidential administration has had strategic military strikes somewhere. It's no secret that the United States can pull this off. I don't think anyone's shocked by this.
I don't think that anybody's shocked, but I tell you one thing: when I'm watching fucking television, and my wife just looks over at me because she's on social media, and she said, "We just fucking dropped," and in my mind, I'm thinking we were gonna drop 1 or 2 bombs. I didn't think we'd send like 5 bombers with fucking 12.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think it was going to be that intensive. So.
But my point is, after all this, Kevin, I know you're hawkish. You're excited about the mission. You know the bombs we're talking about. You know the planes. But after it, we are right back to Trump in 2018 withdraws from this agreement with Iran that Obama put into effect in 2015, criticizing after our big mission, waving our big dick to the world, what's the solution long term? He's going right back to where we were, some diplomatic agreement, resources, trading resources for safety. We're right back to here. So what's the goddamn point? What's the lesson here? Did we learn anything? Did we learn anything, Washington?
I don't know, man. To me, it has, of course, not the same, but it's one thing to put a kilometer of fucking mechanized equipment on a border of a country like Ukraine and then cross it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if I was...
That's so World War II. It's completely different to fly shit that we fucking got the technology out from fucking Roswell. You know, I mean, you can say what the fuck you want to, but that's just a bigger version than the gimmick they fucking flew on Independence Day. So,
how many planes that we sent over?
I think we sent 6, didn't we? It was 12 total, so we had to have sent 4, right? Each one dropped 3.
Right. But they were preceded by
Tomahawks hit first.
Right. Okay.
They shot 30 Tomahawks from subs.
Right. Right. So what's next?
Well,
what's next with
everything
Iran?
that I've watched from the talking heads on both sides is, and especially the generals, is once again we did what we did in the Middle East with Afghanistan and Iraq. Is we always have a great first day plan, but we never plan for day 2. Like if they would have got a missile into a chow hall someplace, say in Doha, and killed 50 of our troops.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough of is that enough of a retaliation to where now we've got to fucking ratchet it up? Like that's the whole thing. You've got to like we're blessed to have pulled the mission off. It went spectacular. You couldn't win any better. The munitions were what they were. I'll guarantee you that nobody has a real idea what kind of damage it is because it's just no matter what, it's still buried. You know, I just don't see how, unless it was 5 miles deeper than they thought it was. But I know one thing. The 2 days. I think it started 2 days. 2 days before there was, just a caravan of trucks in front of that. They were moving shit. So they definitely move shit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look into it, it's like it takes plutonium, weapons grade plutonium 100, let's say. It takes 20 kilos of that to make a fucking weapon. So a 45-pound dumbbell, basically. How many 45-pound dumbbells do you think you can back one of those Toyota fucking vans?
You mentioned...
Put some rugs over it.
Well, now the smaller, more contained nuclear projectile, which could have floored
It would just be of lesser yield.
What is it called? What's the technical term for it?
whatever. I think it's megaton.
Okay.
Like, if it has, X amount of megaton. Like they've got fucking shit now that are, has 50 times the destructibility that Hiroshima armament did.
Now that would have decimated. Trump said everything's decimated, and it may or may not be. You can't tell, but that would have ensured rendering the sites useless.
I think that would have also ensured so much instability worldwide to fucking see
because of the aggressive nature.
Well, just to see, can you imagine fucking everywhere you look to see that mushroom cloud?
Right.
And then fucking match it with the last two we left.
Yeah.
And then we point and say we're not the heels.
Right.
So.
Right. Good.
But I look at it and I say I think Truman made the right call, and I think Trump made the right call.
All right. Very good. We'll see where it goes. If you're choosing work boots, I'm going to tell you how to make the right call now, because usually you're going to sacrifice comfort or durability. But our friends at BRUNT, they have a solution for you, for all of us, as a matter of fact. BRUNT workwear, they're more than just boots, mind you. They've ended that trade-off of which I speak, designing boots that withstand the toughest job sites with a feeling as comfortable as your favorite sneakers. I have my pair of BRUNT right here. Now, I chose, I didn't choose the hard toe. I went with a softer toe. It is still pretty good. That's me pounding the toe. These may be the most comfortable work boots on the planet, but they also deliver real performance on the job, whether you need waterproof, safety toe, soft toe, pull on, lace up. They've got you covered. All right. They're so confident these boots are going to blow you away. They'll even let you try them on the job risk-free. All right. For a limited time, our listeners are getting $10 off at BRUNT with the code Kliq, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/KLIQ, and you're all set. After you buy, do us a favor. Let them know where you heard about us. Now, the one I chose here, I chose the Ullman. There's the Marin and the Ullman. You're going to be amazed at how comfortable these boots are, guys. Listen, my daily life, I'm not doing anything that needs this. All right? The play my wife just directed, I did the lighting on that, as I always do. So I wore the work boots. I had to drop the grids. I had to step over cables. I felt like I was doing something that manly men do just by wearing my BRUNT, but also could go out for a bite afterwards, because this, with my perfect jeans, very stylish. Okay? No joke. These BRUNT boots, they're comfortable right out of the box. Okay, most of the boots, you got to break them in. No, these are comfortable right out of the box. They didn't just make a durable work boot. Okay, they reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners are getting $10 off at BRUNT by using the code Kliq, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. Use the code Kliq, K-L-I-Q, and you're all set. All right? After you purchase, they're going to ask you, and you're going to tell them, we heard this at Kliq This, the Kevin Nash Show. Thank you, BRUNT. Kev, how about some Dear Sexy? I have a couple of letters here. I have a couple of actual Dear Abby letters.
Thank God, man, because I was hoping we didn't have a Florida Jersey guy thing.
Why is that?
There's just, I think it's been going on for like a week now. Big fucking fat guy, but like short hair, kind of a long beard.
Chris Christie?
No, I mean, like, it just looks like, he almost looks like, nothing against John Daly, but he kind of looks like John Daly. And he's a school teacher down here, and they just caught him making AI child pornography with fucking the kids in his classroom. And it's just like, if anybody wants to sit down and argue the good and the bad of AI, Mr. Nash, your opening argument.
This guy,
This fucking guy.
the John Daly lookalike.
Yeah. So.
Oh, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, David McCowan.
Yep. You fucking. Ugh.
He's a little bit. Can I go back to that? I'm getting Blue Meanie and Judge Robert Bork from back in the day with the beard, with a little bit of. I'm going to say that's a little Aryan head action there. It's a little.
There's definitely some fucking central casting going on with that motherfucker.
Yeah. But no Florida man. This week we've got Dear Sexy, 2 actual Dear Abby letters. But what if Kevin Nash were to give advice to these 2 individuals? First one, Dear Sexy, I'm a 48-year-old woman. When I was 17, I hooked up with this guy who was part of my friend group. I knew he had a crush on me, so I decided to have sex with him in his car. It meant nothing to me, but everything to him. He's tried to reach me over the years. If I was married, he was single. After my first husband died, I did meet up with him briefly. I guess I shouldn't have done that. I asked him if he wanted to date, but he was married. His marriage didn't last long, but he was upset when I met a wonderful man and was dating. That wonderful man and I are now married, and my old high school hookup is pouting and upset. He's declaring his love for me and insisting that I leave my husband for him. I'm not going to do that. Is the fact that he's still in love with me after 30 years romantic or creepy? That's from Got History in Texas.
Usually when something like that happens, it's almost impossible to still be in love with the human being. I think the person is in love with the idea of being in love with the human being.
And in love with the idea of the person 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's just... Like, there's not, like... You get to a point in your life when that's kind of where you want to be. Because you know that that's where you... I mean, it's just like... I used to think about... Because I really, like, significant women in my life, I would think... I mean, let me think how many there have been.
How many in high school? Let's start there.
1.
Okay. College?
1.
Germany?
1.
All right, we're at 3. And then when you came back here after basketball and you were bouncing, anyone in your life at that time?
Yeah, no, just the next person would be my wife.
All right, so 4. Right? Is that the right count? 4? So 4 significant, serious relationships. That's probably, I mean, that might be the average, right? For people, like, long-term, several years. But for God's sakes, Kevin, if we're talking about the one in high school, there's no way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going back to and thinking about that. I'm like, Jesus, man, like, number one, like, when you think back to somebody in high school, she's 17.
Yeah, and in your mind, it's the 17-year-old
Yes, I mean,
version.
it's exactly. You've never even met the 66-year-old her.
You never know what's gonna. Oh.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, she did run into him in this example more recently, but still, the you don't know what's going on elsewhere.
Well, see, number one, just it seems to me that you would run into somebody several times in your life that you're very small. You're small town. You're a small town person. Like,
right.
you're one of those haven't moved 25 miles from their high school.
Kev, of course, you're married now, but if we're thinking to the previous 3 relationships, if you had to lay a little money down, which one of them do you think would have turned out best? I'm talking from strictly the most superficial physical.
I have no idea because I was so out of control. I mean, it's just no. It's just I wasn't this person, so.
But I'm saying that which of them do you think, if you ran into them today, you'd be like, hey, not bad.
I
Well
don't know.
done.
Because I don't know how they turned out. Like if
Did
one
some
of them
eat better? Did some work out?
Well, it doesn't. Physically is the least of my worries. It's going to be mentally.
Were they insane? Any of them?
No, but I'm just saying, where are they at now? Like, what's their beliefs?
Oh, I just kind of meant if you saw one in the supermarket, would you go, hey, Barbara?
Well, if you're going to play superficial.
Yeah, of course I am.
I would probably, Denise was the most attractive of the 3.
All right, Denise. White chick?
Huh?
White chick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, second letter. Dear Sexy, I need help. I'm a 50-plus-year-old married, well-educated woman. I am also a kleptomaniac and not proud of it. It started a few years back when I accidentally left an item in my shopping cart. Since then, I have found it easy to take things: shoes, makeup, jewelry, and clothing. Signed, John Hamm. I am out of control. I know it's wrong. I tell myself, that's it, I will not steal. Then I go and I do it again. I want to stop this madness within myself, but I can't tell anyone. Please help me. That's from Taking What's Not Mine in Tennessee. Cure for kleptomania?
Prison? Sooner or later, ladies, sooner or later you're going to get caught. If you're telling me you're well educated, it's just like it's a matter of time before you get caught. So at least be smart enough to have a lawyer on retainer so you can not spend more than 6 hours before you get bail.
Develops this at, she said she's 50 plus and it's happened a few years back. So let's say 40. Who the hell decides a married, well-educated woman?
It's that, but to me, it's just like, what's the difference? Like the person that gets hooked into gambling, There
was a predisposition there somewhere in the
No,
DNA
it's just
and it gets
that
triggered.
I just think that people, your brain, man, is just, who knows where you live, if your fucking serotonin levels are fucked up, if you've become bipolar. I mean, anything can happen as you get older, and just the hard not. I mean, for Tamara and I, this week has been, we had a rough week. And I think it was as simple as our refrigerator went out and we got a new refrigerator. And we had to take on the sides of our refrigerator, since T was a little kid, is all stuff that, like, your kid puts shit on your refrigerator. And then as he got older, there was always like the best pictures of the 3 of us are of him and his mom. Like they would always get, put on the refrigerator. And so we had to switch out we had to get a new refrigerator. And it was just like stripping all that down. And it's like, it's piece by piece. I think the magnets are these giraffe magnets that T had when he was like 4 years old that have legs and arms. It's like every piece of this fucking thing that you're taking apart is just, and it probably took us a couple of hours to do this because of the conversations and so then the refrigerator comes, the new one, and then you've got to fucking after, going through that, now you've got to, re-put everything back on this. And I was just like, fuck, after that, I was shot.
Kev, if this is too personal, I apologize, but everything's personal on the show. When you and Tamara, two different people, two different chemical makeups, when you go to these places and you have these moments, are you both similar in that
No.
you want somebody to help, or does one person prefer to be alone and quiet? Like, how do you do
But
that?
like, I say, like, the relationship with your child's death. Like, my relationship with my child is, like, with Tristan's death, is so different than Tamara's.
Right.
Because her beliefs, she's very spiritual. She believes in that there's signs that she has like a very strong belief system on how she deals with it. And then, like, I'll listen to her and I'll be like, wow, like, it's fascinating, because it's a coping mechanism, but it's also, I mean, if you just don't think of that, there too much shit happens that would be coincidental, uh, if there isn't some fucking, you know something going on.
We've talked
Because,
about things here. The song on the radio
yeah,
when you're not sure that you want to
yeah,
do the
there's
show.
just,
And yeah.
it was like
But
I
you
said.
have to respect her process, right? Like,
Yeah, and she has to respect mine, because I said, today I came home and from the mailbox place, and I'm going to go on the road this weekend, and I just don't want to be around people, but I've already committed to this thing. And she said, "Do you want to talk about it?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm good." I don't want to. I said, I've spent too much time, like, thinking about this over the last 4 or 5 days. It's just,
yeah.
but then as this shit kind of goes down with Iran, I'm thinking, is, how long do we have? Is it fucking, is it 2037? And then this science project, fucking, somebody just makes the wrong fucking step.
Yeah. Well, that's part of what every day is, trying to
Yeah. So,
hammer through the path here. Well, thank you for that.
but I will say that I know that I live in a fucking a tree house, and I'm completely out of it. But I do run into people on a daily basis that are kind of your middle class America, and they're very fucking despondent over the fact that extra money they were promised if they voted this POTUS into position seems to be evaporating.
Who was
Seems like,
promised extra money? I missed that speech. Well, if
oh,
the top 1% in the
no, I'm
4.7
talking
trillion dollar
about
tax cut.
that their lives would be better.
There were
The
people that
middle,
believed
yeah,
that.
they
There were
would
people
have
that
more.
believed that. Yeah.
It's that they would have more money left because, of everybody that I ran into that was going to vote Republican was telling me that if we were in a recession. I just wasn't aware of it because I was wealthy. And I guess, so what are we in now? Or is anybody moving into Central Park yet? Fucking shanty town. Little depression.
Yeah. Understood.
I think today, with the numbers, like 1% fucking growth, 1% inflation. Is that where we're at right now? Like, kind of stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you see, when there's uncertainty abroad that we're involved in, there's always that. That's kind of like, that's playing football in the snow. There's kind of an artificial effect
Oh
happening, and you
yeah.
have to wait to see,
by the time that ceasefire was, by the time Trump motherfucked the two countries, which I just thought was so fucking, like, that was pretty gangster. There's a lot of people, it's not very presidential. You know what? Fucking, if I spend like fucking 4 hours on the phone talking to two knuckleheads, and then fucking I got off the phone and one of them fired a fucking other missile.
You might say they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
also.
I might pretty much say I don't know what they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash Show. Guys, enter the room dick first, okay? We do. This is a fact. So BLUECHEW is not just a tablet, it's a cheat code for the crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave you downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. BLUECHEW is the original brand, offering chewable tablets for better sex. Listen, sometimes I'll take a BLUECHEW just to make standing in line at the store a little easier. So I have something to rest on. If I have an extra bag, I can sit it on there. I've been kicked out of museums because they think I'm carrying a statue out. Guys, this isn't about just performance. This is about legacy, or third legacy, if you will. Give her group chat something to talk about. You know when you lay it down. All right, your friends, your partner's friends are going to talk. All right. Your performance is being broadcast to their closest circle. And nothing's going to make you more of a legend than a little BLUECHEW. Discover your options for what I'm talking about at BLUECHEW.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners, as always. Get your first month of BLUECHEW free. Just use the promo code NASH at checkout. Pay $5 for shipping so they can get it to you. That's it. Join BLUECHEW's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Best part about this whole process, everybody, it's done online. You go to BLUECHEW.com, make your selections, quick consultation. Somebody will review your information and your prescriptions granted. And if it is, within days, you're getting your delivery. Head over to BLUECHEW.com for details and important safety information. Thank you to BLUECHEW for sponsoring us for a very long time. And long is the operative word here, by the way. Some questions for Kevin. Ask Nash. Hashtag Ask Nash is how you get yours.
Send my love to BLUECHEW.
Always. Always. You know that long-running percussion show in New York, the Blue Man Group? I think they're also in Vegas. And the BLUECHEW Group might be a good way to go with this. Just think of all the different percussive sounds you could have slapping your hog on different materials in the theater and miking it. Hashtag Ask Nash.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Please.
So T was at T went to TNA with me for a TV taping.
Mm-hmm.
It was beforehand, so we were out fucking around, and so we walked into where the Blue Man Group, was doing a show. There's nobody there, but we're snooping around. Some guy walked up. He goes, "What are you guys doing?" I said, I'm wrestling over. I said, my son's a huge fucking Blue Man Group fucking fan. And he goes, "Oh, let me show you around." And as the guy turned to lead, the fucking look T gave me was priceless. It was like, because he was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
We're going to go through
Yeah,
this?
we're going on the tour of all the... Oh.
I said, of course we're not going. I said, I said, we're good, man. T really thought I was going to fucking rib myself to rib him. I'm like, no,
right, that's a very Fuji thing to do, to put yourself through torture. Pinball Wizard 809, how over is Rhea Ripley? Seems like every time she comes out to the ring, fans go crazy. How would you book her? Because She's such a dominant force and makes no sense that she isn't a champion. This kind of harkens back to the discussion we had before. Do you need the belt?
Yeah, you know, it's when it comes down to it, like I think Charlotte really stands out. I think that fucking Rhea really stands out. So it's almost like. But I tell you what, man, like this is the first time I've seen Jade wrestle in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was on.
Yeah.
And she's not ready, right? She's not quite ready. She's getting. But Jade just fucking like looks wise, like she looks like a Marvel comic book character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, more so than anybody else on that show. Those thick ass abs and that fucking perfect fucking I mean, just.
Yeah, that's superhero build.
Yeah, she's that doesn't look like it. That doesn't look like that's a real human almost. She's almost like CGI. So she gets her skill level up. That could be that could be a great place for her to work.
Yeah. So there's some options for Rhea to be put with competitive women. Or women that could have a believable competitive match with her.
When was the last time Io Sky had a fucking like wrestler or did anything?
She's been off for a couple.
She defended her belt at all?
She's been off Raw for what, a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Chris, Big Kev, with the Henry Cavill produced live action Warhammer 40K series in development, is it a project you'd be interested in? You'd be a fantastic Trajan Valoris, if I'm saying that right.
I'm not familiar with the reference.
No, I don't know it either. Surveillance. Who is your favorite teammate at Tennessee, and do you all still talk?
I had a bunch of guys that were I did different things with.
Who did the best professionally in sports after that?
In our group, Dell Ellis.
Okay.
Yeah, Dell did real. Dell was an all-star. I think he was for a long time. He was the all-time leading three-point shooter.
What do we got in the house? Who is ready to ask Nash? Instagram and wrestling historian, fantasy booking. If the finger poke of doom didn't happen, how would you have liked your WCW title reign to have played out after Starrcade 98?
Man, I would like to have had a run. As a babyface. I wasn't ready when I was fucking Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't ready to be a babyface.
Right.
And things were still hot then.
Who would it have made sense for you to lose it to, like competitively, not with the finger poke? If your run had been longer, where do you think it would have ended? With who? With whom?
I mean, a lot of guys Dallas was up and running Scott Steiner. That was kind of during where he started to turn into, But I mean, the only way to do that would have been give it back to Bill in a babyface match.
Right.
Which they should. I mean, I could have just beaten him, and it had been clean, and we could have had a trilogy.
That's
we
true.
We got to get 3 out of that. He could have beat me the second one, and I could put him over in the third.
Very good. Who else in the house? KliqThisTV.com is where you go to become one of these folks, like Patrick Leonard did. I still think Kev beating Goldberg's streak was the right call. Kev and the Wolfpack were over as fuck. I don't think.
I mean, you can say, people can say whatever they want to. Obviously, I didn't do it to. We just wanted to get the belt off of Bill. So,
Britt, if you were asked to be a coach on the new LFG show or help out sometimes at NXT, would you do it?
I actually got asked to. We're going to do a segment on LFG on the factions. I think Eric and X-Pac did the episode, but I ended up getting surgery, so I missed it. But no, I'm good.
Mark Caps. Any memories of the Myriad Convention Center in OKC? They're tearing it down to build a new arena for the Thunder. Myriad Convention Center.
I remember that there was a place. Where was that at? Oxen Bar was the name of the arena. I mean, Marion Convention Center.
What was Oxen Bar? What is that?
It's what is it? The brass. It's it was something spelled backward. It was just an arena that used to be like, I don't know if it's Geigel or one of those old territories. It was like one of their, legendary. It was called the Oxen Bar.
Okay. Send me one more, Steve. Who can wrap us up here this week? Hey, Ace Ramon. Did you hear RYBACK call himself out when Cody and KO were talking about wrestlers who overestimated their worth when they left WWE?
No. What do you mean? What do you mean by?
Well, it's when they leave thinking they can go on to something, overestimate their worth without the Fed machine, and then find out that
He was hurt.
Well, I didn't hear his comments. I didn't hear the context that he said.
Well, I just know. I just know RYBACK. We had stem cells together, spent a week together. He was fine. He was hurt. His back was. There wasn't no way he was going forward. He busted his ass to get. I think he'd get a hell of a pop if he showed up at a Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Kliq, this is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2025, Butch and Sundance Media. Hey, Kev, do you want to do another one?
Only if I can do it while in the cockpit of a B-2.
Let us free to fade away into eternity. Circulate, you've come to love me, but now I'm frozen in dead flesh. Oh, Sophie, knew all along it was a dream, but the customer service never answers the thing. never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer service never answers a thing.